Good afternoon from the Hostage Diaries. Today I'm going to discuss the shadow game motive. Of course, the ability to hide this mysterious thing. That's why it's always the mob plays a lot of different angles. They play all sorts of angles. The mystery thing is a real big important, especially because they pile so much on that they hide it under religious secrets or state secrets, even though I am a state, or trade secrets, or omerta, the mob secrets. There's all sorts of. But the name of the game is that golden goose hostages that keep laying the golden eggs that have just a tremendous amount of value that they can use in a lot of different ways. And so I've been wondering why, like I said, what is my contribution? Well, what's happened is I have been killed. I am dead. I'm a ghost because my body is not mine. It's been taken. What you're seeing doesn't exist. That's not a sound you hear. You can't. This is all make believe. This isn't real. I am not real. I do not. Because I was murdered. I was killed, and somebody else stole my body. Body snatchers. That's what literally they are. Body snatchers. A lot, and I am big. I'm like a mountain or big. So a lot of different people can use my body. And because they decided to gamble and daredevil ramp rather than building a bridge and building a bank and building, a civilized structure, now it's got to be these mysterious shadow games in the dome or the pollution haze that hides the truth, the purple haze. So you got to fit the necessity of figuring methods of hiding the true nature. I would like to see what the contributions are and then work on some sort of legitimate settlement, balance, or something to get something up. But they don't want to pay anything, literally, because I have a feeling it's a lot. I have a feeling they use, and like I said, it's just trace elements. You take a little bit of radioactive material and you throw it in a huge vat of something, the whole thing becomes radioactive. So therefore, everything in there has the value of the radioactive. That's it's the precedence of radio, and then they're trying to call it nuclear power, but in actuality, it's radiation poison because of the adverse effects of but then again, the spin doctors can make anything seem plausible. Whatever's wrong, just spin it. Change the rules. The miracle of being infallible. Whenever you're wrong, just change the rules, rewrite it, erase and rewrite. That's what it's all about. Now they're erasing me, my name, and therefore desecrating me to give away my body to other things. And like I said, there's religion on one part, but there's 50 other shades of illegal, ill-gotten gains that happen and there's medicine, there's energy, there's fashion, there's just tons of sports, there's entertainment. There's a lot, but it's all based upon energy in my estimation. I honestly think that nuclear regulatory IV in Arlington, Texas is a huge, huge thing. Not to mention, it really has become wizardry because now everybody's trying to attach these certain, so they'll have magic power. But me, I'm the source. I got nothing. I'm dead. They done killed me, and then they're just giving away my body. My pimps are getting paid while I sit here and suffer. And it's that I guarantee it goes back to the show MASH. My father used to like to watch MASH. It's a funny show. I enjoy it also. And I guarantee they really hate our family because Louis Mark's toys, they made army men, the Guns of Navarone. They even had that World War II open to wing. The problem is the military even turned against us because the mob was controlling us. So by the mob desecrating us and making us look so pathetic and weak and, just beating us into the ground, burying our bodies so deep, therefore we lose all our support. Whereas we could have had, if we would have had a proper estate built, it would have been our muscle. But the mob is afraid of reciprocity. They don't want to pay a cent. Like in The Godfather, Michael Corleone, we're not going to pay nothing, and you're going to pay the fees for our gambling casino. He's telling the senator. I'm like, and that's what they've been basically doing to me. They're not giving me anything, and I'm going to pay a ton more because they got me hostage. You know, they literally got me kidnapped, hostage, gun to my head. I mean, it's proper. You know, it's really bizarre. So Louisiana was supposed to be like a sheriff's station, a law office, an accounting balance to the church pertaining to Latin America. So, but what happened was we got hijacked. You know, the mob took us over. They don't care about, you know, the mob thinks small. They don't really care. All they care about is their whores. They want to keep their whores. I am a threat to their stable of whores. Literally, I am a threat to the mob stable of whores. And they want easy access. They want to be able to give them what the whores are an asset. The thoroughbred whores are an asset to be traded and utilized, where they don't pay basically anything to them for the value that they're derived and the representational nature, of course. So, I am a threat because I am a different sort of system, whereas they don't necessarily like civilized law, that mentality. But it's not even like in the United Kingdom where there are percentages of whore wrangling. You know, here it's just all you got is a bunch of whore wrangling by pimps. That's all this country is. There is no civilized at all. I mean, there's wars over destroying civilized structure as it is, and even I gotta say, the civilized structure in this country are dim-witted. I guess it's the donation to, you know, it's like feeding their dogs is what they figure. They're just gonna lock me out. So by killing me, but what it's done is it's given their dogs superhuman, or their pets, or whatever they are, their animals, superhuman power. So now they're attacking using my power, attacking the aristocracy who was dumb for donating me in the first place, but they got conned, and they got conned out of it long ago, in my estimation. See, so Louisiana was supposed to be a law state to help me look like Smokey the Bear, you know, and oversee the South America. For it's the balance. It was sort of a balance between the church and the Smokey the Bear. But what they decided to do was, since they decided they get rid of the balance and they would swoop in and it's easy meat. They can go pick up all the jewels they want. You know, whoever wants anything, just go loot it. You know, just we're not going to pay anything. They'll just go loot it. And the USA mob doesn't really care. They've got this mentality. If I'm not the master, I don't care. I'm just going to, you know, they really bit hard. I mean, it's real, but I think it goes back to because my family has been under control. We've been dependent to certain factions of the system. Therefore, utilizing the golden rule exponentially, the 1 for a million or the 1 for 100 million validation of utilizing access of assets, programming the network. So what happened was we should have, you know, we gave way too much. We gave a ton. We gave till we were dead. I didn't need, my family gives everything away, and I'm starving to death, literally. Nothing on my plate, and we give away everything. And I'm starving. That's how much we give. You know, but the problem is they screwed me, so now the health care that we provide is to protect those that screwed me and that beat the hell out of me, basically. So now they're more concerned with protecting those that beat me, because they dragged me around and let me be beaten by some high-value assets, so therefore their health care is holding me into kidnapping captivity, because the health care that we provide, Blue Cross Blue Shield or Anthem or, you know, any of these Liberty Mutual or Travelers or any of these insurance that the communal pool processed, because of my body was hacked and because I'm basically a ghost dead, sold for parts. So Louisiana was taken over. What they did was they sold their soul. It was a battle between Exxon and Blood, but they decided they wanted the tangible. Exxon was real. They had jobs and stuff like that, so they didn't gamble. But in actuality, it was a huge gamble, because they lost their real muscle that they didn't really expect to have. And that's why the global economy is being screwed right now, because that's the only way to for clone or the problem is the only way for poser clones or to rule is with debt bondage or huge cash piles. So that's why you've got the global economy in the state that it's in these days. Louisiana doesn't really care. They sold their soul. They realize that they're playing their cards. I mean, they sold their soul. They're not going to do anything. Obviously, they're breeding hostages as that's the Fast and the Furious. Nitrous oxide is breeding as many hostages for human shields as possible, so they don't have to pay anything, in my estimation, because they really did screw up that bad. They sold their soul. Now Texas is in control because of. See, the problem is it all goes back to that debt bondage, whereas we're also utilizing public facilities. Therefore, it gives rights away. Even though I am literally kidnapped and blacklisted and boycotted and unable to, it's because I'm locked out of certain factions but to protect those that screwed me, which is not necessarily kosher business, if you understand what I mean. So I would like to audit the family contribution, the estate, the immediate, real, true blood family, what we provide. Hey, if I'm wrong, it's a great story. I should still be able to make 5, 10, 15, 20 million, at least maybe $1 billion franchise like the Da Vinci Code. Even though I've been massacred, dragged behind the truck to be into a bloody Pulp Fiction and infected with disease because people really, really hate me for some odd reason. Like I said, they hate anything that threatens or I don't know. Like I said, they want to destroy me. It goes back to that MASH, like I was saying. They tried to kill me by suicide, so they really screwed up. I mean, they had some extreme mental anguish torture, isolation, solitary, mostly, and then try to just to make it unbearable to live. So suicide is painless, like the MASH song. But they wouldn't hit me. No, it's always it's always these wizard hacks. It's always they want to rot my teeth because I can't afford to go to a dentist, or they want to carve scars from age, or they want to just screw with me so bad that I have insomnia to where I get black bags under my eyes because it looks like they punched me in the face. That's them ghost wizard punches. That's what they're all about, or that sort of mentality. While I'm castrated and unable to just living life well is the best revenge. And of course, my life is just an utter shambles, just screwed beyond all capability. So therefore, they're the better winners. It's all about image because they don't really care. I mean, it's beyond comprehension of how stupid this really is. They refuse to settle. They refuse to give anything. It's to the death because they know they're guilty. I think that's my psychological interpretation of what's going on with it. Yeah, they're addicted to the mob whorehouse, basically. Peddling whores. There's Dominican skirts, the St. Joseph's Academy skirts, and that's their whorehouse. That's their currency. They trade them. They want to prove that they're the master. So the scheme that was set up was to bury my body, what my natural ability. It's all based upon the premise of natural ability. That's why they desecrate my name. That's why I'm a beautician, and it's always the worst interpretation of what it could be. Gummy bear, and I'm just hacked to death marks, that sort of thing. And so, therefore, those that have derived power from me look a lot better. And it's a defense mechanism also. And so, but the problem is, like I said, is those that are guilty, it's like insider trading. Imagine if you went into a big Fortune 500 company and you decided, well, I'm going to wreck this fucker because my buddies are the competition. That's what's going on. There, you got a job in the Fortune 500 company. I mean, we're talking one of the biggest banks in the world. And you get in and you start making just stupid decisions where you're just, destroying, just giving everything away. Fire sale, just throwing shit out the windows. Pick it up, whoever wants it. Giving stuff. You leave, let your buddies come in the back door, insider trading, and loot the place. Then you burn it down. Then you move over to, your buddies are in control. So you've destroyed insider, and then you try to call it natural selection or competition or sport or wrestling. It's just wrestling. That's just wrestling. Even though it's bank robbery wrestling, but that's the purse, Don King. Only in America, right? Yeah, they're desperate. For some reason, they really hate me to the degree where they don't want me to experience any of the goods. It's all about they want me to get the shit end of the stick to prove that they screwed me the best, that they're the it's just crazy psychological. That's one of the reasons that I'm wasting my entire natural life is so I'll always get the leftovers. I'm interpreting how the mob thinks because I understand. I can see through their fickle little feeble minds. They're pinheads, basically. The mob it's always got to be right because they're bluffing. Because if you call it, they won't even let me call their bluff because they insided trading and gave away all my loot. They won't let me use my wallet to call their bluff because they have taken my wallet and they're using it. So it's like margin call where they kidnap me so I can't have a margin call because they're so far overextended. So they decided it's like Michael Lewis, the Big Short. So I just get beat down, massacred as a short, and they're betting against me, of course, because they're giving away all my stuff. And therefore, that it's just in trying to call it any number of things. So I would like to understand the family's capability. When you put together all the pieces of evidence, what could have been lost potential, I guess. I don't rightly know. But the problem is also there's a lot of people in my family that could have taken the reins or control, but then because I don't know. It doesn't make sense. I think they're just desperate and scared. So whatever should have been my muscle has to be turned against me as health care to protect those that screwed me, to protect me through insurance. I mean, you talking about an illegal con game contract. And then it's a bunch of shadow ops and the interpretation of the Holy Spirit. That's another reason that they want to destroy me. They don't want me to speak. They want to speak for me through action so they can manipulate action. What it's all about is manipulation. They don't want me to clarify. They don't want clarification, the mob factions. They want to, that's part of why they love Jesus so much, because they can make up, just, the Bible's, you can make up just about any way to screw something up, but it's just the Holy Bible, that sort of mentality. So, it really is. It's like they want the Holy Spirit. They don't want any sort of competition because they want to be able to interpret and what benefits them the best. While as I'm paying a ton. Like I said, religion's one part of this. There's a lot of different religions working together with a lot of these others. And what they were trying to do is, like I said, they wanted to burn any bridges that I have because they screwed up. And they realized it's to protect them. That's the Blue Cross Blue Shield, because they screwed up so bad. Gambling on me dying, suicide is painless mash, or that I would be murdered or something, I would die in a flaming car wreck. So now they have to protect themselves from any reciprocity because they're so valuable. So I have to suffer even more. That's why I'm here. I mean, literally, they're unwilling to do anything. They would sell their soul to the system rather than let me go. Because what they're doing, like I said, Louisiana was sabotaged deep, mob deep down there. They were sabotaged. They sold their soul to energy. They were playing me against the Exxon. Or it's the plastics versus the true blood. And I got massacred because I had no support. I mean, we're talking about $1 trillion worth of business here. And I have no support, no advisors. I can't even see what's going on. I've got to figure this out in my head. I can't do anything except it's all got to be, it's just one of the most asinine things in the world. And then it expanded from there. So then you get into all these certain other angles of exploitation. The attachment paybacks, well, the attachments, it's like pile of the that's a huge thing. And they use precedence. Precedence is always huge. Like the precedents in Congress and things like this, even though it's the attachment valuations to chemistry or the attachment valuations to the representational nature of plastics or a product that is produced, a clone, the attachment enhanced validation, the exoskeleton, whereas the valuation is deemed through the system and not necessarily who's steering the vehicle. So everybody's driving around, instead of VW Bugs, they're driving around in their AMG Hammers. And that, but the math or the accountability on that has got to be hidden. That's why there's the shadow games and the mystery cover up of the reality of what's actually going on in these premises. So you piggyback or you attach all of that's the math exponents that's going on. It's like me, I do one thing because a doctor from Texas, the Longhorn State, the cattle state, paid for my family education, and I am unable to I am forced dependent by those who benefit from him giving away. It's that same mentality of, it's that one-to-one relationship of me then becomes 10 million strong, an army, the Trojan army sort of mentality of all these clones that have the production of the same rights of my body using the trace elements, the genetic splicing, and then they validate it through the GMOs of golden rice or wheat or corn or something like that. And so it's all based on this that's another reason the system is so desperate for no competition. First of all, they don't want any sort of the competitive hate competition of any that has any legitimacy tied to it, because they're exposed and they just hate competition. So then I'm handicapped in these small ball games. I've got to be handicapped. Even though I'm paying major league salaries, I'm paying for big league salaries through my bank. I am forced, to be fair, handicapped into these because I got it was like if somebody came up and shot me, and they did, or speared me, or stabbed me, or poisoned me. I got to play it as it lies. I got to take that and just grin and bear it. Oh, you got shot? Grin and bear it. Gabriel, St. Gabriel there. Grin and bear it. You got poison? Play it as it lies. While I'm providing health care to those that shot me. To protect them, I got to play it as it lies. So I'm handicapped, keep getting massacred in this Jason Voorhees Friday the 13th beatdown to where I'm all, but they beat me to where I'm just barely alive. That's the misnomer manipulation of. It's all about how far can you stretch it, screw it, Stretch Armstrong, and still keep the party flowing. So I'm forced to be handicapped on this level while I'm paying salaries for the top level. Yet I'm not allowed to use my own body because got to grin and bear it, play it as it lies. Bare necessities for the bank, that's bullshit. I mean, it's a fraud because my bank is being pillaged. It takes assets to run a competent bank. And I'm not allowed any assets because they are allowing their buddies, the insider trading saboteurs, who are hammering me down. And it's an armed robbery. It's gun to the head. You play that as it lies. That's your rules. Because golf is motherfucking God. It's this bullshit voodoo mentality. While the bank assets are being looted and pillaged by their buddy over there. And so therefore I am unable to protect the bank because I have to play it's a huge, huge scam. I mean, it's just absolutely. So I am unable to build a competent foundation, a state that provides protection for the assets that I am looking over. So to protect those that are looting and pillaging in the name of freedom. Yeah, I mean, it's just beyond all sort of and there's just so many angles. So I'm handicapped to the small ball is fair to protect as health care to those that have stabbed and screwed and tried to kill me. It's like I'm protecting people who tried to murder me. Somebody came up and shot me. Somebody poisoned me. Somebody hit me with a spear, machete. But I've got to turn the other cheek, right? Because it's Jesus money. Bullshit. What a fucking sham. You know what I mean? So I got to play it as it lies, grin and bear it, and then provide health care, turn the other cheek to those that try to murder me. But I am not. I'm, like I said, I'm the banker. I am a basically trying to manage assets or Bureau of Land Management, but not for the USA. I'm a Bureau of Land Management for Latin America and European assets, trying to protect them from those that have kidnapped me and are using me to access and loot and pillage the assets. So then you've got to turn it to where it becomes this. That's why, because they screw up so bad, they've got to turn everything against me. So that's when they just give so much away. They bribe so many people with stolen assets in order to launder the money. Whereas it just seems to be, oh, that's free enterprise. Yeah, right. It's a chop shop. I mean, it really, really is beyond all accessibility. So, let's see what we got. The massacred extraction. Of course, the massacred extraction of any. It really is just a big chemistry set. My body is taken and manufactured, but as the system is the creator. And there's a lot of little wars. I am forced to play these little games, these little factions. The Wildcatters, the Roughnecks are containment. But in actuality, I'm paying for the big ticket items that I can't use because I've got to try to protect those that are using my banking assets as the capital principle. So then it's all about torture. And it's, oh, I mean, it really is. Wow. I mean, the funny part is the World War II D-Day Museum. My grandfather was a lifelong American Legion member, buried with a 21 gun salute. And I get massacred by peaceniks, but the problem is it's because they paid off enough people because they want to keep me contained. I mean, it's just the most insane. Obviously, we had to grow beyond to do something, but we were not allowed. We were contained in order to utilize our influence as any sort of numerology, and then paying extreme lessons in reverence and all this sort of stuff. Engineered slaughterhouses. And so tortured by the peaceniks, who then are, it's playing sides. Whereas like I said, we are locked out by those that are the aristocracy or the animal farmhouse. We're locked out by those because I got hacked so bad. I got beat down so bad so they could keep me out. They had to, the peaceniks and the mob, the whorehouse wrangler mob, had to keep me access to me because they had plugged in so many things to me. They were using me for energy. They had plugged in so many code hacks that I was supplying power for. So if I got into protected from the wilderness and could get healthy, that's what this is all about. If I get healthy, it really hurts those that try to kill me or that are using my body illegally. So that it's the, because they gambled on screw it. They didn't want to build a bridge. They wanted to be daredevils, jackass. They wanted to be purple haze, jackass, daredevil. So, they wanted street cred, gangsta street cred, rather than, and so I was horrifically mismanaged, naive, and to the point. And I could have spun it, but they won't allow me to spin it because they screwed me. And that's another reason they got to keep me a gummy bear, because they screwed me so bad that they've got to keep me small in order to try and protect themselves as health care, because they screwed me and they don't want me to be able. It's like if they're afraid if I ever do get my use of my body back and I start assessing the damages, and then I look at what we do, a little forensic research into who caused what. So I'm now providing, that's why Blue Cross Blue Shield is the state of Louisiana tied into that network. Not to mention we contribute a ton, which is based in Chicago, which is horrific for me because they're benefiting greatly. I mean, it really is a conflict of interest. The person that is getting, but that's when they deviate me as the franchise animal slave test, animal testing lab rats, right? That's a good way to spin doctor it. Just doesn't make any sense at all. And so it's horrific, horrific mismanagement.